Hello, darlings. Lee Bailey, who's the host of Good Company, asked me if I would do something really memorable on his show. I've been paralyzed ever since, so I came here to my favorite thinking place to try to think of something. You know, I get my best ideas in the bathtub. You would be surprised how many bad ideas I got right here in this tub. But actually, this is my favorite room in the whole house. This is my office. I have my telephone here. I have my gramophone, record player here. I have everything here. And where can you think better than a wonderful hot bathtub anyhow? Now, if you guys would take those cameras away, I'd like to sleep in something much more comfortable so I can show you the rest of the house.
Good Company in Color is brought to you by
Hello, I'm Lee Bailey. It's too bad that Zsa Zsa couldn't think of anything exciting to do, but we'll meet her again with her daughter Francesca in just a moment. While we're waiting for her to slip into something more comfortable, as she put it, I'd like you to enjoy a beautiful view out here. Zsa Zsa lives in this majestic ridge in the Bel Air section of Los Angeles. It's an area of breathtaking vistas and lovely homes. It's a storybook castle filled with art treasures and memorabilia of her exciting life, which includes careers in stage, screen, and television, and some husbands to boot. Movie stars like to give the impression that they're just like the folks next door. But not Zsa Zsa. She is a star, she knows it, she likes it, and she lives like one. She created this home to fit the legend of Zsa Zsa Gabor, and it's considered to be one of the finest homes in Hollywood.
Hello, Mr. Bailey. I'm Miss Gabor's secretary, Carl. Miss
How do you
Gabor.
do, Carl?
How do you do? Miss Gabor wanted you to know she'll be down in just a moment.
Thank you very much. Is it kind of a tough job being Zsa Zsa's secretary?
Well, I can't say it's not difficult. I guess it is. She's very complex. She has many careers, and we lead a busy life here. Of course, everybody in the world wants to see Zsa Zsa Gabor or get, close to her somehow. It's my job to see that the wrong ones don't and the right ones do.
Well, we're going to try and get close to her today. You know, she's got quite a public image, and we're all familiar with it, but you know what she's like privately. Can you compare the two? Is she for real?
Well, I was amazed to find that the legendary Zsa Zsa Gabor really does exist. I mean, she really is this beautiful and this chic and this exciting, this witty, this unpredictable. Well, there's another side, too, though, and the public doesn't know that, I think, and that's that she's very sensitive and very thoughtful of others. For instance, I had only been here a few days when Tony Curtis and his wife, Christine, came over for lunch, and Miss Gabor said, come and join us, Carl, and she had an extra place set at the table. I think she does many things for people like that, and many kindnesses, and permits no publicity about it.
Welcome, Lee, darling, to my house. But next time when you come, please don't park your jet in my front lawn.
Oh, I'm sorry about that, Zsa Zsa. I won't do it again. I do want to thank you, though, for that great opening. I'm sure it's going to be remembered for a long time.
And I will remember the cameraman for a long time, not to talk about the man who put all those bubbles over me.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll never be the same. But, you know, I missed out on that opening. I wonder if we could go back up and run through it again.
Don't be so impatient. I take a bubble bath every day.
Would 9 o'clock tomorrow be all right?
Little later, 10 o'clock. Come on, darling. I want to show you my terrace.
You know, we were admiring this view out here a little while ago, Zsa Zsa. Who
Isn't
lives
that a
around?
fantastic view? Well, I have all kind of exciting neighbors. First of all, down here lives Nancy Sinatra. And, you know, it's very interesting. Remember a couple of years ago when the terrible kidnapping took place?
Yes, it was a boy, yeah.
Well, all of a sudden, in the middle of the night, around 2 o'clock, we saw lights going on, television cameras, and I was sure that the boy was found. So I knew it sooner than any press or anything.
You, have a pretty lovely swimming pool down there. Do you get
want
in
to
it much?
come downstairs and take a swim with me? It's just the weather for
I could
it.
be talked into that without too much
Yes?
trouble. I didn't bring a bathing suit,
Don't
though.
worry. First of all, we have all the shrubbery, and then I have all other kind of sizes of swimming trunks.
I see. Tell me, is that the only kind of exercise that you indulge in, or do you do some other things?
Of course not. I do all kind. I play polo.
You play polo?
I fence. I play ping pong. I play tennis. I love all exercise. Yes, I do play polo. I learned it in Paris.
Who taught you to play polo?
Well, an old friend of mine, Ruby Rose. I don't know if you know about him.
Yes. You know, I read that book about you by Gerald Frank, was it not?
We wrote it together, yes?
I'm sorry, with Gerald Frank.
This Dawling, yes.
And you never married Ruberosa, did you?
No, I was afraid to marry him, even though he was a wonderful person.
Why were you afraid?
I don't know. Yeah. Even though I should have maybe married him. I don't know. Let's not talk about who I didn't marry. Let's not even talk about who I married.
Okay, we'll do that. You used to have another home around here somewhere, as I recall. Didn't it burn down?
I had a beautiful home, yes, a couple of years ago. Remember the big Bel Air fire?
Yes, I do.
And I was just in London with a couple of suitcases, 12 suitcases, and left this gorgeous house covered with antiques and paintings and all the things, you know, what one collects, letters one likes, and, I don't know, photos and everything. And I come back and there was nothing but ashes.
I hope you had it insured.
Well, first of all, you can't insure all the things that you keep for a lifetime, but it was not, the inside was not insured. And so I had a big loss.
It was a delightful homecoming, wasn't it?
It was a terrible homecoming, and I adored that house as a passion. It was quite close here.
Well, this is a pretty nice house as it stands. How many rooms have you got in here, do you know?
But I don't know how many rooms I have. I even have a nightclub in here.
Do you think that you could find a smaller place that you could love quite as much?
I could never like a smaller house that much. Anyhow, a small house is very expensive.
Well, you're way up here. Very expensive, sure. You're way up here in a hill all alone. You ever get lonesome?
Often, yes. All of us get lonesome. I think only very stupid people don't get lonesome.
We'll come back and get lonesome with Zsa Zsa in just
I hope
one moment.
not lonesome. I don't want any man to ever be lonesome.
This is a very, very lovely living room, Zsa Zsa. Did you decorate this yourself?
Yes, I did. I love to decorate. I think if I wouldn't be an actress and a mother and all other things, I would probably become a decorator.
You got an awful lot of pictures here on the piano. Are you a sentimental type?
Well, of course I'm sentimental. All actresses are sentimental. Did you ever see one who isn't?
No, I haven't met one yet. Who are some of the people in these pictures?
Well, this is my darling, wonderful father, who I adored and adore. His dad, 2 years ago, he died. You see, all his medals. Mother used to joke about him. She used to say that all the medals he bought, and it's not true because he won them in the war.
He's got a lot of them.
Yes, he does. And this is my mother, who's
How long
beautiful.
ago was that taken?
Not so long ago. Isn't that fantastic? She looks absolutely fantastic.
That's your mother?
That is my mother. Well, there you are. You have to meet her. She lives in New York. This is Francesca when she was little and much less problems. And this is one of my favorite pictures of my very first picture, Moulin Rouge. I hope you saw it.
I did
If
see
not,
it.
You did not see it?
Of course I saw it.
Well, that's Moulin Rouge. And then there is Conrad Hilton's picture. There's a Begum Aga Khan, who's a very good friend of mine. There's a picture of Magda and her husband. There's Francesca again, small, with me in the house which burned. What a nice picture.
How long ago was that taken?
Well, that was quite a while ago. Francie is about 3 years old.
Notice you got some trophies over here, Zsa Zsa. What are these all about?
Oh, well, I have different trophies. I had much more, but, you know, they burned in the house. Well, this, for example, is for the Hollywood Foreign Press Association, the most glamorous award, actress award in the world. 5 times in a row I won it. Isn't that wonderful?
Oh, I can see why.
This is from the Alliance Française. I got it last year. This is the City of Hope, and this I'm rather proud of. I was chosen the Woman of the Year in Cleveland by the Hungarian Community of... I can't read it even. Yeah, it was a wonderful trophy, award.
What's this great big one here? This is a rather impressive
This
looking
is
thing.
not mine. This belongs to my dog, Franz Joseph. You know, I have a beautiful Hungarian hunting dog.
It's the dog's trophy?
Uh-huh. Well, listen, he has much more trophies than I have. He's 51 times best in breed. His name is Franz Joseph. And once he didn't win an award. He came home and you couldn't talk to him for 2 weeks. He was sulking. He didn't want to eat.
A stuffy dog.
Well, but he's a wonderful dog, though. He brought me more silver home than any of my husbands ever did.
How about showing me some of the art collection you were talking about earlier?
I love to. Come along, darling. Come, Lee, darling, I want to show you some of my prized possessions. How do you like this Renoirs?
I like the bathing suits those girls are
You
wearing.
do? Don't you think they're a little bit fat in comparison of today's women?
A little bit fat. Yeah.
Isn't that charming, though?
That's a very charming painting.
And this I want you to see. This is one of my prized possessions. This is an ice bucket, you know, ice cooler. It's from London. It's from Asbury's. It's George II's antique, and it's well made. And imagine how I got it. I went into Asbury's, which is one of the swankiest and chic shops in London, and I loved it. This is a pair. I have 2 of them. And I said, well, I love them. This is Miss Gabor. You can't have them. The Queen of England is bidding for them. So me as a damn fool, I bought them, and here I am.
You outbid the Queen of England?
I think so.
You mean she couldn't afford it and you could?
I'm sure she could afford it and I couldn't, but I bought them.
Yeah.
Now, here's a bust of Abraham Lincoln, which I also found in London. It's done by an American artist, Joe Davidson. And I think, on the other hand, here I made a fantastic goodbye, and it's just beautiful. He's really one of my favorite Americans.
Well, you used to be a painter yourself, as I recall. Didn't you do some painting?
Yes, and I love to do paintings.
Do you
but
still have them around?
No. You know, I had about 27 in my other house before it burned. When it burned, I sort of didn't paint since. But I think I'm going to start it again.
Well, when you do, you let me see them.
All right. You can come and see my paintings then.
Good. You now owe me 1 bath and one
bath
view of some
and 1
painting.
view of painting. Yes.
Okay, I'll remember that. That's a very pretty fireplace you're sitting in front of. Is that just an ornament, or do you burn fires?
Nothing in this house is just an ornament. Of course, we burn fires, and I love a fireplace. Nothing is more exciting than a nice violin music, candlelight, and a burning fire in a house.
Yes. That is probably the prettiest painting that I've seen in this house. Now,
thank you, darling.
That's you, but who's with you?
That's my daughter. That was painted a couple of years ago. That was actually painted before the fire, but I had a little apartment in New York, and I had some of this French furnishings in the apartment, and thank God that painting, so it's still here.
Well, you don't look much different than you did when that was painted, but...
I'm much younger since that was painted. And
yes, I'm sure that you are.
Naturally.
Does Francesca still look like that, or has she changed a little bit?
No, she changed a little bit. Would you like to meet her?
I'd love to meet her.
Well, I'm going to call her. Francie, come on, darling. I want you to meet Mr. Lee Bailey.
How do you do,
Francesca.
Mr. Bailey?
I understand from Zsa Zsa that you're enrolled in school. What are you studying?
I'm studying acting.
You making any progress in your studies?
Well, I've been on a few interviews, and I was screen tested last week.
What are some of the problems that you run into as a budding actress?
Well, I think the main problem is getting a job.
Getting work.
Yeah.
That's the problem for all of us.
Yeah, I bet it is. But I would think you'd have an additional problem with Zsa Zsa as your mother, and she being an established star. Does this help you, or...?
Well, it helps me to maybe get the interview that maybe the other person can't get. But on the other hand, they expect more of me. You know, they think, oh, well, you have to be more talented since you've been in the, you know, you've had the background.
What kind of mother are you, Zsa Zsa? Are you pretty strict with your daughter?
I used to think I'm a good mother. Now I don't know anymore what kind of a mother I am. I don't think I'm strict enough, but after Francesca, I'm too strict. So who knows the answer nowadays?
You mean you're not as strict as your mother was?
Oh, of course not. But of course, in Francesca's age, I was already married.
Well, that's true. So
but my
perhaps
husband was very
comparison
strict
isn't
with
fair.
me.
Francesca, you have other interests than acting, as I recall.
Yes.
What are some?
Well, I ride a lot. I like photography very much. In fact, if I didn't go into acting, I would like to be a photographer.
I was looking at some snaps here. Is this some of your work?
Yes, that is.
It looks like these were taken in some Asian or Indian country.
Yes. Well, one of them is in England. The others were in Bangkok and Hong Kong.
You took them in Bangkok?
Yes, I was in Bangkok just recently.
I see. How
She won a contest.
I was on the dating game.
The TV show?
Yes.
You mean you didn't have to get Zsa Zsa to put up the price?
No, wasn't that a break for me?
Sure was. Tell me, do you think, Francesca, that having a famous parent like Zsa Zsa makes life a little tougher than for the other kids, or...?
Well, I'd rather not answer that because I don't want to lose all my friends.
Well...
Maybe you don't want to lose your mother.
Well, we'll take that both ways.
Without speaking of friends generally, do you have a steady boyfriend at the moment?
No, I don't. I don't believe in going steady.
Oh, I do.
Well, you were married at 16. Now, your
Yes.
daughter is what, 18? Is that right? She's not married yet. Have you had any proposals?
Yes, but I don't want to get married.
Well, I'm not going to ask you to name the names. I just...
There's too much to do before I get married.
I
Like
think
what?
she's the wise one.
Like, well, I mean, first of all, if I do have a career, I don't think that marriage and career, I think you have to stick to either one or the other at that time. You can't go wholeheartedly in a career and still be married and, you're gone all day and you have to come home and cook for your husband,
But you don't have to cook for your husband if you have a career. You might afford a cook then.
Yeah, I know, but still, you can't spend the full time you could spend with your husband, and if you have children, then, forget it. It's impossible.
Yeah. You have a job, don't you, as well as going to school?
Yes, I work at Papagallo's in Beverly Hills.
Well, as I understand it, Zsa Zsa makes a week's pay. Why do you have to work?
Well, I think you should work. I think, just sitting around and doing nothing is very bad. And from there, I can go to my interviews, too. It's a store that's very flexible. They let me go out and interviews and other things.
It's a part-time job?
Yes, part-times.
Where do you go around this area when you go out on a date with some of your boyfriends?
Well, I usually go to to have dinner somewhere, and then I usually end up going to the factory of the Daisy because I love to dance very much.
And she's a very good dancer.
Oh, I'll bet she is.
Sometimes my partner, I think we shock a few of the people there.
You do?
Yeah, you haven't seen us.
You perhaps are finding out a few things you didn't know.
Yes, I know.
Let me ask you another question your mother might not know the answer to. What age men do you like to go out with?
That's a little tricky, I think. Well, I don't know. I'd say from 25 to infinity.
25 to 70?
No, yes, that's what you said.
No, I said 25 to infinity.
But what is infinity? How
Whatever
old is
you
it?
want to make it.
I know that you have to go, Francesca, but let me ask you one final question. What do you really hope to wind up as? What are you going to do with your future?
Well, I hope to make it in acting, but I hope to, well, I don't know. That's the main hope at the moment.
And my main hope for her is that she finds a real nice young man and about 3 or 4 years gets married and has a happy home.
Well, you're an old traditionalist. It's been awfully nice of you to stop by and say hello,
Mr.
Francesca.
Bailey.
Good
Goodbye.
to see you.
There you are.
Tell me, Zsa Zsa, does Francesca remind you of yourself when you were that age?
Well, as I told you before, I was already married at that age, you see, and no, not too much. I think she's more definite. She knows more what she wants. I only knew that I wanted to get away from home, to get married, and to, sort of live on your own. And I think that most young children want the same now, but in those days, the only way to get away from home was to get married.
Is that the reason you got married the first time?
And I got married the first time because I was in Lausanne, in Switzerland, in school, and I didn't want to go back to school. And there was that Turkish diplomat who was the ambassador of Turkey to Budapest. And since I was about 10 years old, I knew him because he was a friend of my father's. And each time he came to the house for a party, in our house for a party, he said, "Little girl, when you grow up, I marry you." So yeah, I was not quite 16. I came back on my summer vacation from Lausanne, and I was absolutely determined I don't want to go back, and I didn't know how to, how to swing it. So I called him up. I says, "Excellency, do you remember your promise?" He says, "What promise?" He says, "You promised me to marry me." And he was really taken by the back, talked him into it, and he married me.
How long did it take you to talk him into it?
3 days. But I became Excellency at the age of 16, a princess, and gave big parties for kings and queens in my home in Ankara. And when I didn't give parties and I didn't go out in the evenings with my husband, I was horseback riding the whole day. I don't think I was a very serious, good wife.
Can you remember where you went on your first honeymoon?
My first honeymoon, I went alone because, you see, my husband took me to Albania, where his brother was ambassador of Turkey, too. And I think I must have infuriated him so much with my childish outlooks that he just left me there. So I went to my first honeymoon with my Scotty, which was a wonderful dog, my brother-in-law, my sister-in-law, to Venice. But I had a wonderful time.
Without your husband?
He had to go home to some state business. He was a very busy man.
Well, if you married the ambassador at 16, how much dating had you done before that?
None. I never had a date before. As a matter of fact, the first party I ever went to was as a married woman.
I wonder what you would do today if, or 2 years ago, if Francesca, who you think is not strict
Grown
enough
up.
with herself, walked in and said, "I've just married the ambassador from Turkey."
I would probably die.
Tell me, Zsa Zsa, you've been active for quite a while now and certainly made a lot of pictures and appeared in a lot of shows. Do you consider yourself a good businesswoman?
No, I think I'm a very silly businesswoman because I'm very impulsive. When I see something, I have a business manager, of course, but I always ask him after I made the mistakes if I should do it. And, of course, it's always too late.
Well, you apparently have some talents in the other direction. You have a very delightful and polite young lady for a daughter.
Thank you very much. And, you know, nowadays it's not so easy to bring them up politely.
No, little rock and bump.
It's not groovy to be polite nowadays, as they would say it. But she's by nature a very intelligent and a very polite child.
I can see that. Zsa Zsa, how about seeing a little more of this lovely home of yours?
How would you like to see my bedroom?
Zsa Zsa, if that's an offer, I accept.
Come along, boy.
You,
Come along.
you sure you don't mind if I go up and look at your bedroom? If I don't come back after this next commercial, you'll know where I am.
How do you like my bedroom?
I like your bedroom very much, and I especially like that bed. Where did that come from?
This is an exact copy of Empress Josephine's. Isn't that great? Come and sit down.
Oh, thank you. This mattress is pretty firm.
Well, of
Josephine's
course.
mattress like this?
How should I know? I was never married to Napoleon.
Oh, you weren't.
No. For the joke.
What's all this canopy overhead about?
Well, you know, in the old days, people wanted much more privacy. So, you know, these curtains, they close. You just open the little bows and they close, and then you are really private.
I see. Tell me something, John.
What's
Do you think this bedroom adequately expresses your personality?
Well, of course it does. It's blue and green. Sometimes I'm blue, and most of the time I'm green. No, but really, seriously, it's French. It's beautiful. Everything is done lovely in it. It's terribly unpractical, and the bed is too small.
Too small?
Uh-huh.
Whoa.
Well, I have another bedroom next door.
Oh, I see. Why do you have
Much
two?
large. Well, you know, it's better if a husband and wife don't sleep in the same bedroom. The woman can keep her privacy, and she can be mysterious. And after all, it's not that far away.
Do you think that's part of the key to success?
What success are you talking about? No, in Europe, people do believe that a woman should have her own bedroom.
Well, I think there's a lot to argue for, that position.
You know, once in my life when I was married to George Saunders, he only had one bedroom, but he had another house, and he had a bedroom there. And sometimes, really, the nights were cold to walk that far.
I see. Different buildings?
Different. He was in Beverly Hills, and I was in Bel Air.
Well, what about twin beds? I gather you don't believe in those.
I don't believe they're too small. They're really uncomfortable, and I don't know. I don't like them.
I see.
I like big, large beds.
I
think we
I'm
should.
going to pass that right
Yes.
there and ask you how much time you spend here.
In my bedroom, well, you know, I'm a very hard-working
No,
woman.
I mean in the house.
In the house, well, I travel all around the world. Not as much as I should, and not as much as it cost me, really. I would like to spend a little more time in it. I just got back from Chicago, as you know. I was playing 2 months in a play called Bly Spirit, and it was really a wonderful experience. I just got back about 3 weeks ago.
That play, by the way, did very well. You got rave notices and packed houses, and I don't think...
We broke everybody's
Yeah,
record. But people never talk about me when I achieve something as an actress. They always talk about me when I make a funny remark on a television show. But when I'm really serious actress and work, they just sort of forget it.
Do you think all of this wit and charm and glamour is a disadvantage in your theatrical career?
Oh, you're so sweet. What a lovely compliment. Thank you, Lee. Well, I don't know. I think they expect an actress to be sort of very, very serious, which I am, but I don't think the whole world has to always see your serious side. They should always see you sort of gay and happy. It's nobody's business how you really feel inside.
Well, at times it is, and at times it isn't. What do you really think is the secret of your success with men? Because you have it, there's no question about
You
it.
think so?
I'm here to report faithfully that you do have it. But why?
Well,
Where did it come from?
Mainly, if you talk about success with my ex-husbands, it's because I never in my life asked for any alimony. Now, of course, in Europe, they think that is a big gesture. Here, some of my friends think I'm a fool.
What about some glamorous men? Do you know any? Any you admire, respect?
Well, yes. If you speak about glamorous and sexy men, you know, I always...
Now, let's start with the sexy ones.
Well, I think one of the most sexy men, I don't know him that well, I just think he is Marlon Brando.
Mm-hmm.
Then I think Steve McQueen seems to me very sexy, and I'm sure Frank Sinatra. I'm sure you are a very sexy and glamorous man.
You've heard of the Fifth Amendment?
Yes, all right, don't you say
I'm not going to make any...
Then, of course, you know, it's very funny. About 3 weeks ago on a television show, they asked me the same question, and I said that Governor Romney is a very sexy-looking man. And I only saw his pictures. I just came from Chicago, and he's very photogenic. And then a friend of mine sent me an article where they interviewed him, what is his opinion about my remark. And he said, well, I only want to be sexy for one woman, and that's my wife, which wasn't the most diplomatic thing to say. But I think that his wife must have brainwashed him.
Oh, do you think so?
Well, how can a man say such a thing?
He seems to be getting brainwashed frequently these days. Let me ask you something. Is this the first time in your life that you've paid a man a compliment and he pretended not to care?
Well, it's the
I'm sure he
first
did.
time in my life that a man came back with an answer like this. I must say I was a little bit hurt because after all, I said he's glamorous and sexy. He looks like that. And I think a man should be rather flattered when a woman says that.
Yeah, well, he's a good-looking fellow.
Very good-looking man, yes.
Well, I think that we should continue this conversation. I have just one little problem.
What is it?
I do have to go back to the East Coast.
I don't see why
It
you're in
pains
such a
me
hurry.
to go back. And it has been a most exciting and charming half hour, and if I had it in my power to continue on, I would do so.
Well, come back soon, and thank you so very much to visit my house.
Next week, in a modest home in Atlanta, Georgia, we're going to visit with one of the most influential and controversial figures in the world today. His name is Dr. Martin Luther King.
Good Company in Color was brought to you by